Hey guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another retro RPG. And at the end of another week, the end of another poll, we've got a triumphant win for Platt's Smugglers Guide for the Star Wars role-playing game. Now I'll cover that in the desktop in a wee second, and I'll be back at the end of the video with some other channel-related stuff and some other poll-related stuff. But before I do that, I'd like to take a moment to talk about my Patreons, who this week I have been told, no, not to give in to hate. Now these are wonderful people who help support the channel and let me make the material I want to make, rather than the stuff that YouTube thinks is worthy of monetization. So I'd like to thank them from the bottom of my heart. All their efforts are very much appreciated. Now if you'd like to join them and help support the channel, and I sure wish you would, or you'd like to see these videos a week early, or you'd like to gain access to one of the other levels of patronage we've got, then there's a Patreon in the description down below. If you check it out, it'd be very much appreciated. But anyway, let's have a look at Platt's Smugglers Guide. So, this is Platt's Smugglers Guide. Came out for the Star Wars role-playing game from West End Games in 1997, towards the end of their run with the license. Now this book is a book with one purpose, and it states it within it. You want to play Han Solo, but you don't want to play an exact copy of Han Solo, then this is the book for you. Now, this is towards the end of the run, as I said, and does reuse a lot of material from other books, which I've had a problem with the Star Wars role-playing game doing that a lot in the past. But I'm not going to complain about it too heavily here, because basically it's trying to bring together all of the information for smugglers in one book. And that's kind of cool. If you want to play a smuggler, buy this book. And I can't criticize that too heavily. Anyway, the back cover. Platt's Smuggler's Guide by Peter Schweighofer. Smuggling is a tough business. Most people in this profession go broke, run up huge debts to crime lords, get blasted by bounty hunters, or are captured by the Empire. Why learn this exciting trade through costly and painful errors? Platt Okeefe takes you on a guided tour of the shadowy world of gunrunners and freelance lawbreakers to teach you the secrets of this dangerous profession. Who do you work for? Take a look at the legitimate and criminal elements who pay smugglers to haul cargo from the core worlds to the outer rim. How did you get the job, and what incriminating evidence did your employer have against you? How do you get your ship? Smugglers acquire the starships in a variety of ways, most burdening them with debt for the rest of their lives. Check out two of the most popular light freighters, the Corellian YT-1300 and the Ghtroc 720, complete with deck pans. Now, I have to criticize this one because those are out of the core book. Everybody does already have stats for those two ships, because they're in the main rulebook. But anyway, tools of the trade. Shop for supplies in the stockpile of gear, especially useful smugglers. You'll find everything from tools and droids to emergency equipment and cargo accessories. Who do you know? Making connections and contact networks is often the key to good business. Choose from a wide variety of entrepreneurs whose success comes in part from helping you out. Who's after you? Smuggling is no easy life, and as paranoid as it sounds, people are really out to get you. You'll find a few more here just to make your smuggling runs a little more challenging. Smuggler character templates. Tired of playing the Smuggler and Wookiee First Mate character templates? Choose from 18 new templates representing smuggler characters and crew. Warunian Captain, Clatoonian Roustabout, Rhodian Gunner, Mon Calamari Spacer, Twi'lek Copilot, Mercenary Trader, Celestin Engineer, and others. A perfect companion to Galaxy Guide 6 Tramp Freighters. Inside, well, the publishing quality is absolutely first class. The artwork has changed in style since the early Star Wars books, I have to say. The line art that they used to use was a lot more cartoony, whereas this is a lot more art. But for my taste, I really liked the action that was in those other pictures. These tend to be a bit more static and artistic. So it's very much to your taste whether you prefer much more detailed pictures or you prefer something with a bit more dynamism. Anyway, we've got introduction, introducing Platt Okeefe, a famous smuggler. We've got some ideas for players, Games Masters read this too, and it tells you that this is a character creation menu. You read this book and it gives you a bunch of ideas. And then we're straight into character development. And we're going, not every smuggler's from Corellia. So you want to create Han Solo, but you don't want him to be from the same planet. So it gives you ideas. We've got Bakura, Burchest, and it references the source books all of these are from. So you can get a basic idea if you want to be from Bonadan. But if you want it detailed out, then it tells you where you can read up on that and find out more. And it's got a huge bunch of them. Need more homeworlds? We've got the Planets Collective, the Thorn Trilogy Sourcebook, Pirates and Privateers as a short but useful fringe of communities and shadow ports. Really referencing other stuff in a fantastic way. Family life isn't always great. Your family was competitive, confrontational, enslaved or imprisoned. It's giving you so many ideas for building up your character here and creating a history. You know, they were prominent, they were supportive. What were your past occupations? Before you were a smuggler, you were a common labourer or a drifter, a fugitive, a student, a teacher, a technician. And we've got this character template here to add all this information in. We've got your smuggler origins. Again, starting off with a bit of a story about Platt Okeefe as she's interviewed. But then we've got, how did you get into smuggling? You know, it was employer encouragement. Illegal is more profitable. Indentured to power. Giving you reasons why you became a smuggler. Who do you work for? Drop point agents, and it gives you some examples of them. The Empire, perhaps you're working for Governor Jared McLean, Imperial employer. Large shipping corporations, trade guilds, mysterious clients. You know, fleshing out the universe with lots of ideas. This is obviously more for the Games Master, or to allow you to choose somebody in your background and then for the Games Master to use the information within. Now onto the section on your starship. And we've got a sketch here showing the 3 cockpits, the left, right and centre for a YT-1300. I wish they'd done more with that. They did in other source books. And we've got the YT-1300, a nice deck plan for it, different to the one for the Millennium Falcon, which I believe is in the core rulebook. But we've got the basic stats. Talks through customised YT-1300s. And starship quirks. So you're buying a second-hand ship and there's perhaps something wrong. You know, atmosphere control systems are stuck on cool or hot. Cockpit chair padding is lumpy and uncomfortable. Loose deck plates trips over anyone running through corridor. Landing gear won't retract. You know, sort of interesting ideas for quirks for your ship, why you got it cheap and used. Then we've got the Ghtroc 720. Suggestions of other ships which might be there. There's not so much on the Ghtroc at all, basically just the information from the core rulebook, although there's some nice deck plans there. Notes about smuggling compartments. Really modifying your ship, it refers you to tramp freighters. How did you get your ship? Was it an employee benefit? Was it a gift? Did you steal it? Was it a repair project? And then a very useful section for Games Masters on rules and regulations, including things like the Bureau of Ships and Services. So when your ship gets ID'd by the Empire and you need to basically change its license plates, you're going to be going into BOSS and swapping its ID with them, hacking their systems or whatever. And we've got various other Imperial agencies, the different documentation you'll need as a spacer, the ship operating license, captain's accredited license, arms loadout permit. Starport procedures including the METOPS, OSP, so the signal they send you when you're arriving at a planet, telling you what the local rules and regulations are. Starport classifications, going from a landing field up to Imperial class. Imperial penal references, Class 1 infractions up to Class 5, which are a violation of local import and export laws. A fine between 500 and 1,000 credits. Tools of the trade. So different equipment items, going from the Spacer's chest, which I believe I've seen in source books before, gear bags, data pads, astrogation plotters, an archaic one. Comlink headsets. Cargo accessories, loader's gloves for helping you load items, but you can also use them for melee combat because they enhance your strength. Tag scanner data bags, Imperial Customs holoseals, all of this information which really fleshes out the universe. Cargo netting, portable emergency beacons. We've got security including entry hatch locks, starship toolkit kits, power pry bars. And then we're onto a bunch of droids here. So the ASP-7, the standard worker droid. LE ones from the Shadow to the Empire one. R2, R5 astromechs, transport droids.
And then we're onto a section on contacts, so different people you might meet. Who are your contacts? Data forgers, and it gives an example. Docking bay owners. Fences to sell illegal equipment. Friendly spacers. Fugitive medics to get yourself patched up. Infantants. Locals. Mercenary captains. Outlaw techs, who you're going to get to modify your ship with a better hyperdrive or some hot weapons that you've stolen from somewhere. Employers as contracts, and then we're on to rivals and adversaries. So how did you meet these nasty people? What did you do to them? Did you break the law? Did you embarrass them? Did you foil their plans? Did you hurt one of their friends? We've got examples of corporate transport pilots or other smugglers, criminals, minions of the empire. And your employer as an adversary, somebody that hires you and then ends up as your enemy. And then we're on to character templates. So we've got a few examples here. A cautious first mate. A classy smuggler. A comm slicker. Cynical free trader. Duro merchants. Gunrunners, hotshot pilots, who looks to be wearing a rebel flight suit to me. Clatoonian roustabout. A mercenary trader, Mon Calamari spacer, pack trader, or pack tracker, sorry. Rhodian gunners, ship's gunners, Sludir crate buster, Sulistan engineer, Twi'lek co-pilot, a weary ship's tech, and then a Warunian captain. And then the last few pages are taken up with these cards. They're dotted, cut, so you could take them out, you could tear them free. Obviously I wouldn't. But they're nice colour cards of a number of the characters in them, with some of their stats and a little bit of information. Some equipment items. And just background information, you know, the astrogation plotter, the permit data pad, hydro spanners. And that's it. Now obviously I would never tear cards out of a book, I like keeping mine more pristine, but they could be quite handy if you are willing to do that. But the book itself, really good. The way it's laid out into building up your character. I would have liked to have seen a lot more of this, and they probably would have done more as the years went on. But a really excellent way of taking the very simple, streamlined Star Wars D6 system, but building a really interesting character around it.
So, that was Platt's Smuggler's Guide, and that won the poll this week with some 27% of the vote, which is only narrowly ahead of the second place. But it was a win that I liked, because I absolutely adore the Star Wars D6 system. And that should be fairly obvious. I've been running a website about it for the past 20 years. But anyway, in second place, 26%, was Cult. Now, this had been a suggestion that I cover it. And at points of the week it was ahead, and it rallied and almost took the lead at the very last minute, but alas not this time. But it'll definitely be going in a future poll. Behind that, on 21%, was Marienburg Sold Down the River for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. In third place was Eclipse Phase with 16%. Now this was an RPG of transhuman technology and futuristic stuff which I really wanted to look through. But alas, not this time. But again, that'll be going in a future poll, and hopefully we'll win, so I'll get a chance to have a look through it. And in last place was Dimension Book 4, Scrapers, for Rifts, which came in on only 9%. Kinda sad, Rifts is full of great ideas, but alas, not this time. I'll put one of the other books in a future poll very soon, and we'll see if we can cover Rifts again soon. Anyway, they're all cleared out of the way, and we're back to a Retro Adventures poll. And first up, we've got the Medellin Agent for Millennium's End. Now, I've talked about Millennium's End a lot. It's an RPG which is close to my heart. I absolutely loved it. But when its publisher, Chameleon Eclectic, went out of business very near the Millennium, none of their products was ever really picked up. So Millennium's End was kind of forgotten about. And it's a worthy game. The people behind it, Charles Ryan and many others, did fantastic work on other RPGs, and so many good ideas in this one. So I'd love to cover an adventure for it. Second up, we've got City of Angels for Twilight 2000. Now, I've covered a few Twilight 2000 adventures. They tend to be very open world, giving the players a large area to explore and complete the adventures in. And it'd be interesting to see what this does with Los Angeles. Next up, we've got Your Own Private Idaho for Price of Freedom. Now, Price of Freedom I adore as a game. It's hilarious, it's exciting, there's so much to love in it, and it's kind of forgotten about. Now, I rewarded myself at my 1,000 subscribers by buying myself a copy, even though I paid quite a lot for it, and I absolutely love that. So I'd love to cover the one adventure that was ever published for it. After that, we've got The Perfect Warrior for the Street Fighter RPG. Now, I kind of had a surge of interest in the Street Fighter RPG a year and a half ago, and people really wanted to see the books. But this is the one adventure that's published for this game, so it'd be fascinating to cover it in some detail. But it's up to use. And finally, we've got Yutati Asfet, The Eye of Wicked Sight for Call of Cthulhu. Now, this is a Cthulhu Now adventure. And it's one I don't know much about. It's been in my collection since it came out. I remember reading it back then, but I'm afraid whatever it was about has gone out of memory. And I would love to read through it and have a refresher, because I do love the Cthulhu Now setting. There's just so much great stuff in it, and so many good adventures. It'd be wonderful to have a look through this and see if this is one of them. What else has been going on the channel? Well, things have been fairly quiet. I've had some extra time, so I've been preparing longer format videos, and they'll be coming out. Over on DriveThruRPG, I've been releasing pirate classes as I work through different settings, creating classes for them, because I'm working up to building a setting and adventure for a campaign where people come together from different times and places, and you can choose wherever you're wanting. So you can have a modern day cop side by side with a D&D ranger, side by side by a pirate captain. And you can put them all together into this situation which they have to resolve. But I need to release some more classes to build up the stock that people can come from. So I'll be doing pirates, I believe I've got Sci-Fi in progress, and I'm looking at biopunk. I'm doing some research on that and coming up with some ideas, because I think that'd be a really interesting one to flesh it out as well. And over on RPG Gamer, well, working my way through the Knights of the Old Republic comic book series, some fascinating stuff in there, and as I read through it again, it's been almost 20 years since I read it, I'm finding these stories absolutely great and enjoying statting out some of the stuff from it. And of course, we've got the Acolyte series airing. Even though it's been getting a lot of bad press, I personally have been enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to the series running its way through, and then I can stat it out as well. But anyway, I think I've been wittering on for quite long enough, so thank you very much for watching. But as always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.